Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Call could be waved!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Brought it by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit Dit to Do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Wednesday, March 3rd. I am mind blown as I was typing in the information for this episode that it is already March. That is just an incredible fact to me that we have. It's felt like, I know everybody's gonna make the jokes. Like, I remember this time last year, this was happening, games were getting canceled, SEC, because we're 10 days away from that anniversary date where, for lack of a better word or phrase, shit hit the fan. A lot of just weird stuff was going on. So it's weird to think we're pretty much back to that anniversary date. It feels like we've made it a year. To me, this is the 1 year mark.
March Madness never left. It just continued on to this March.
Exactly. So it's super weird to me that we've hit this date. But we made it through, I guess. If you're of that, thinking like I am. I want to start the episode by shouting out to 5-Star Preps for the fresh merch. Good little hat here. I'm a big white hat guy. So glad to get a nice looking white hat. Rep 5-Star Preps.
Oh, like an official?
Yeah, big fan of the white hats. Love the. What's your favorite football call? I think everybody's favorite just call in general has got to be the charge. What's your favorite football one?
See, I like the blog better.
Oh, you like but you only like the energetic because a charge doesn't have to be energetic. You can just boop. The block's got to be full hump. Really
full hip.
Yeah,
you got to work out some hips to be able to really call the block.
Exactly.
Favorite football call? That's a good question.
I think. I think it's easy if we want to go specific. Specific, it's got to be, personal foul. He was giving him the business, right? That's got to be the best one.
If I didn't hate the rule of targeting so much,
yeah, that one's good.
that.
You're right. You're right about that one. Yeah. I don't really know a good football call. I like the fancy, the running into the kicker one where they just kind of put their hands on their waist and kicking motion. It looks like they're singing I'm a little teapot or something. So that one's good. But yeah, you're right. There's not a great call in football.
Yeah, it's good. Touchdown.
We need to, I know, do you remember, I don't know. So you watch a bunch of old highlights. We both do, I think. Obsessed with because that's all you have of Tennessee. The old highlights of the refs that wear the white pants that look like baseball pants, those highlights, when they used to call a touchdown, they used to go with the widest stance possible. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
You just need to go watch an old video. They're so.
I know the pants you're talking about.
Yeah, go watch those. It's like they had to go wide stance, big touchdown. I promise. Everybody was wide. If you watch nowadays, everybody's really straight up.
Mm-hmm. Had to go all for it.
Feet shoulder width apart. Before then, they were athletic position, real wide. Yeah, I promise.
They practiced it a lot.
Yes, it was a practice and learn technique. Yeah, that's got to be the number one call for football. There is the touchdown, or if you're a field goal kicker, it's good. Just depending on what side of the aisle you're on there. But yeah, guys, we're talking about the football staff. It is been put together. The newest.
It's good.
Is that Is that the new? Is it the newest edition? Linebacker.
Special teams.
Special teams.
Yeah.
Okay, so I might have missed someone in there, but there is some electricity. Electricity, wouldn't you say, if electricity was out of control, it's bad, but if it's harnessed, it's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is some absolutely electricity added to this staff. We'll see if it can be harnessed or not. After the Will Compton interview with Trey Wallace, I don't know if it can be harnessed.
Yeah, but you kind of like a special teams coordinator. Like you just need somebody like that.
Somebody a
just
little crazy.
Yeah, like
That's a good point.
Brent Venables, like he's a little crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever had fun in his life. But yeah, this guy just seems like 100 miles an hour all the time, and maybe that's something this team needs. Just some energy, some emotion, somebody that's going to come, and maybe you got to worry about him tearing his ACL when he jumps high on top of players and stuff like that.
Right. I would definitely say, I'd say this team's lacked some energy from the coaching staff this last year, and I don't know if that was just I don't know what it was. I mean, like, what happened to the Jeremy Pruitt that was shoving players running out of the tee? What happened to that guy?
Beats the hell out of me. I have no clue.
Like that's what we need, man. But yeah, I agree. There's no such thing as too much energy. There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no such thing. But we will talk about Josh Heupel putting the crossing the T's, dotting the I's on the coaching staff. Talk about the things uphill battle for him. I mean, after this week, two of your top quarterback targets. I mean, it's hard to really call them recruits. You didn't have much of a chance. Committed to call Missouri's probably a rival is probably a stretch, but they're in the Eastern Division with you, so two rivals.
Yeah.
So that's tough. We'll also preview the Florida game. That's this Sunday. Tennessee making up a game from 1st of February. I can't remember the exact date. Taking on Florida there. They'll host Florida. And some of the postseason expectations for this team. So after Florida, obviously you roll into the SEC tournament in Nashville. Talk about some of the expectations for them going forward. I think for them, speaking of uphill battle, I think is it confidence? Like, I think that's the thought it's been with like John Fulkerson. Is it with this whole team? Is it confidence?
I think it's just lack of leadership, or lack of maybe not leadership, because I don't want to I'm not trying to say that Fulkerson and Pons aren't leaders, because I think they are, but just a lack of maybe accountability. Maybe they don't. I don't think there's somebody on that team that holds people accountable. I think Ethan Pons kind of said that in the press conference today.
Lack of a dominant leader. Pons and Fulkerson. I mean, I'm sure they're like great examples, but like you mentioned, the accountability factor, the guys that, if you're not doing it right, they're going to get you right. The Al Wilsons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no one like that on this team.
I mean, people, coaches especially talk about it. It's talked about fairly often. A players-led team or a coaches-led team can be good, but the only teams that can be great are the player-led teams. So it's going to take a player stepping up and taking control of this team in the season to make anything special in the postseason. And I mean, yeah, this year is gonna. We'll get into that. Then we're talking about the BaseVols, who are currently. They may have wrapped it up now. I doubt it.
It's in the 7th. They're up 5-3. Just stranded. The bases loaded.
So we'll talk about their trip to Clarksville. Originally slated to, was it Western? No, who was it?
Dayton.
That's right, Dayton. Originally slated to play Dayton at home. They decided to head out. Why not make COVID a little more interesting? Head out on the road to Clarksville tonight, and they're taking on Austin Peay. Got up to a 3-0 lead in the third. Tennessee's now ahead 5-3. By the time we get to that, I think it may be wrapped up, or at least really close. Hopefully we know the outcome. If you got questions, drop them in the chat. I'll be following along on Twitter. I'll see if I can get YouTube pulled up tonight. Of course, we'll get to our Stupidities and Epidemic, and let's do it.
Yeah, go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. Also, go check out Volunteer Roadshow. They do a great job of letting us use this platform to talk about Tennessee sports, the good and the bad. So let's get started. Let's start with the energy guy. I don't like, what do you call? Like, he looks like when he painted his whole face and everything like that while he was at Kansas State, he looked like a Viking.
Yeah, that was the classic. I was open to that when I watched Two-Days. I don't remember the guy. I was an lineman, I think, at Hoover, who used to do that. Full face paint. So
like a Viking or like a I don't know if you've seen the 100, but like a grounder. They have like their face painted and everything like that. It just looks like a warrior of some type. So him to be a special teams coordinator, I think that's kind of wild, but also like I dig it.
Yeah, you mentioned it being wild. Like, why do you think? I don't know. Is it? I mean, being a special teams coordinator is usually like one of the first things you do. Well, like, why now a special teams coordinator? Because he's been around the game for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to help with linebackers a little bit too because he's done that in his career. He's coached in Nebraska, Indiana, coached with Josh Heupel at Oklahoma. He's at Georgia, North Texas, UNC, Kansas State, and recently he's a special teams coordinator at North Texas. Been a defensive coordinator, been a co-defensive coordinator, linebackers coach, inside linebackers coach, and done a great job with special teams. I think he's recruited some 4-star guys at different schools. I don't think he's here to really recruit. I mean, I think he will have some recruiting duties, but I don't think like Rodney Gardner. You brought him in because of his reputation as a recruiter. I think you brought this guy in because of his energy and because Heupel is familiar with him.
We're talking about a guy who apparently got Will Compton's name tattooed on him. So,
yeah, he told Will Compton that he would jump off a bridge if he didn't land.
No, I think I'll have to go back and listen. I think he told his family that he would jump off a bridge if he didn't get Will Compton.
Oh my gosh.
So, like, he was like, "Hey, kids, I hope you had a good day at school. There's a linebacker I want if I don't get him." Dunzo. That doesn't sound like, I don't know, maybe it is a special teams guy move. Like, those guys are weird. Special teams guys are weird.
Yeah.
So, maybe it is. But, I mean, yeah, so I don't know if we mentioned his name, though, but Tennessee hired Mike Eckler, most recently at North Texas, for their special teams coach. You mentioned he may be helping out with linebackers as well. I mean, yeah, you added a guy, your special teams coach, that has a ton of experience. I don't know how that's a negative. And a ton of energy. I mean, worst case scenario, you get a Trooper Taylor-esque guy that at least brings some energy on game day. That seemed to be lacking this past season. And I know it's like if they're winning, we're probably not saying that, even if there wasn't energy. But it's not good to lose and not have energy either. Like that just it shows more when you're losing and you don't have energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have those strength guys that are going to have a ton of energy each and every day, but it's good to have somebody on staff that brings that same kind of energy. You see, like, if you Google his name, there's, like, the first picture is him with his face painted or him jumping up in the air, like, jumping on players and smacking them on the helmet and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's good to have a guy that can do that, a guy that has a ton of Power 5 experience, coach at the Power 5 level, been at a lot of programs, coach under guys like Bo Pelini, Lane Kiffin, Mark Richt, Bill Snyder at Kansas. They played for Bill Snyder at Kansas State. So guys like that, I think he is a solid hire. I don't know a ton about him, but I like the energy.
That's pretty much all I know, and I like it.
Yeah, that's what sold me.
Right.
It was like when I Googled his name and the first picture that pops up is this big dude with like the massive shoulder pads in, I guess, the 90s. And then his face is all painted. I'm like, oh, man.
This guy's crazy. And when it comes to football, I like crazy.
And apparently he was a great special teams player also, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. But, yeah, I mean, he understands it's a huge part of the game, and Tennessee has kind of struggled, especially last year with special teams. Kickoffs were just terrible at returning kicks. So, hopefully he can fix that a little bit and, bring some fire, some passion to this. Also, he punched Jeremy Pruitt in the face. So, I mean, you got to be on board with that.
True? Like that? I'm glad you mentioned that. I would have forgotten, I think. Maybe later on. Is that story true?
A lot of people have said that's true. Meaning like people on like message boards and stuff, but still, I'm gonna. There's got to be some truth to it.
Yeah,
maybe it was an altercation, but I'm gonna say he punched Jeremy Pruitt and knocked him out. That's like telephone. The more I hear, the more I'm gonna turn it into making it better for Mike Eckler.
Yeah, it was funny to hear that. I mean, you'd initially heard that rumor when Jeremy. I don't remember if it was when Jeremy Pruitt was first hired or when was it Aaron Murray that said stuff at SEC Media Day about how toxic Jeremy Pruitt was and he kind of alluded to that and then it started coming out. Was that when we first heard it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've definitely heard that. Wasn't 100% sure if it was true or not. I know Aaron Murray caught some flack for it, but
oh yeah, I gave him flack for it, but sorry. I mean, I'll take one there. I'll say I was wrong because
I'm fighting with the guys in orange. Okay.
Yeah.
Loyal till I die.
I'm going to twist it until it benefits Tennessee.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you'd won Jeremy Pruitt, I'd continue saying you didn't get punched in the face. So, but wrong side.
Oh, yeah. He got, fell on a helmet, black eye, bad.
Like Spencer, what's the Oklahoma guy? Jones? Spencer Jones.
Oh, yeah,
I just love, how the doctor was quoted in the newspaper. I don't know if that's legal. Of just being yeah, just got done with a 4-hour surgery, and he's lucky he didn't lose his eye. I'm like, that seems like some HIPAA violations. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say that.
But yeah, yeah, we'll go with a Spencer Jones type injury.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Added to staff. Anyone else that you want to talk about?
So AJ Artist is gone. You kind of hate to see that because I think the players really liked him, but once Josh Heupel kind of brought his own guy in there, you just thought it was probably going to happen. AJ Artist and him, they haven't worked together before, so I think that was probably a difficult situation for both parties. So him just kind of moving on to South Florida. It goes with former Clemson assistant Jeff Scott. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mentioned it was kind of expected. I think it was just not if, but when kind of deal. Just because, you mentioned, Heupel did bring his own guys. So, like you mentioned, he seems to have done a really, really great job. You mentioned the players liking him, so you don't want to see him go, but it's not exactly shocking.
Yeah, and it happens pretty much every time there's a coaching change. You don't really, especially this time around, you'd probably love to see guys like Jay Graham, not now, but but before, guys like that kind of stay around. But it just doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And he bounces out. It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. Like you said, it's not the.
I would like to see
Heupel. It doesn't. So
yeah,
it's not a big deal to me.
I would like to see us have the same strength and conditioning coach for years and years and years because I think that helps the program a lot.
For sure.
But Tennessee just isn't able to do that because you're constantly having to change coaches. So
right. I do think it's hilarious, and I think Nick Saban knew it too. Scott Cochran was paid handsomely for his job at Alabama. But the year after Scott Cochran leaves, that train just doesn't stop rolling. And they win a national, which the key places were already pretty much put in place. But it was just interesting. It's funny to see that happen. You're kind of oh, maybe that could hurt Alabama. Doesn't do a thing to them. Doesn't bother them one bit.
Nope.
So, but yeah, you're right. Having a consistent strength and conditioning program coach, coordinator, whatever you want to call them, is a big deal. It's a very big deal. So
that's all I got. I think this staff as a whole, because I know we kind of did the grades on it a little bit. I think the staff in the whole is pretty decent. Mm-hmm. I think on offense you got some continuity, guys that have coached together, performed at a high level together. Defense is kind of where you got some good guys like Rodney Garner. I think Brian Jean Mary is a good pickup as well. Tim Banks is a guy that's highly regarded, but they just haven't worked together. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Mm-hmm. You have so many holes on that defensive side of the ball. and it struggled last year as well. And you lose some of those best players, some of your best players over there. So I just think it's going to be difficult for that defense to really come together, especially if you're not able to have like a normal off season. And hopefully it's becoming more normal. But I mean, I think last year we could have really used a normal off season.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because there were quite a, I was about to say with change, you definitely want to see some semblance of normal. Which I mean, I don't know, you have a lot of guys here that have never been through a normal off season in terms of like freshmen. But yeah, I mean, you want to get back to some semblance, and especially with the new staff, staff that the players don't know, and players that the staff doesn't know. So you definitely want to see it get back to normal. Looks like things are trending that way. Whether it gets there by spring ball or not, to be determined.
Texas is doing it.
Texas is all in. All in. Everything's bigger in Texas, even the COVID numbers. That's not meant to be like political or anything, guys. I just thought that was a good joke. Feel like I needed to throw that disclaimer in there. I don't even know what their COVID numbers are. I'm sorry. I apologize. Mississippi's doing it too. Sue me. But yeah, I mean, things seem to be trending in the right direction in terms of like getting back to stadiums and concerts. And I mean, I don't mean this politically. Like, I'm just excited. Like, I hope I don't want anybody to be in danger. Like, nothing like that. But I mean, like, obviously, you haven't heard anything bad about the vaccine yet, and at least I haven't. Am I not maybe watching the news enough?
I never watch the news, so I mean, your
I don't
opinion's better than mine.
I shouldn't say I watch the news. That's a bad one. But like, read, keep up.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've watched the news, guys.
You scroll Twitter, right? That's what I like watching the news.
Exactly. I scroll Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, actually. TikTok, we learn about weather on TikTok. And, but yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a chance. I think a lot of people are, I think it's more like concerts that are nervous rather than sports about like being the first to do a full venue. But I think it looks like sports. Like, I mean, I think it's possible the spring game doesn't have many restrictions, because you're not going to get more than 40,000, 50,000 to the spring game anyways. So right. I think there's a chance that you're looking at no restrictions. Now they may put them in place, like 50% capacity just to say they did, but you weren't going to get over 50% capacity anyways. So
correct.
I think as far as that goes, I think you could be looking at like no restrictions for that. I don't know if I'll go. I'm not gonna make a day of it, but if I'm available, I'll go. And I'd like to go. I'd like to be back in Neyland. 2020 was the first time since 2000, probably 2000, that I haven't been in Neyland. So I definitely like.
Very
to
unfortunate.
Back. Right.
I mean, I had a great time the other day just going to Lindsey Nelson. Because last year didn't really get to go to many games, and then. Didn't get to go to any football games, any basketball games, so it was just nice to be at a Tennessee athletic event. Yeah, hopefully this is the start to opening things back up. That'd be great.
Yeah, and I know by I think I read today by May, they're hoping that some of the social distancing guidelines across the country are lifted, and I think that puts a ton of hope as far as September goes. We'll see. But it's exciting because I feel like that means by at least at some point next year, you're looking at a full Neyland Stadium. Hopefully. That's hopefully. I don't know. But again, exciting stuff. Let's talk about the struggles of Heupel, because I mean that could if you're looking at a first-year coach that doesn't have. Well, let me ask you this: has Neyland Stadium been an advantage for anyone since Lane Kiffin? So Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt. Have either of them benefited from having Neyland Stadium? Like, is 2015 versus Oklahoma worse if Tennessee isn't in Neyland?
That's a good question.
Because I think you could, if the answer is yes, then that could absolutely be a struggle. I mean, Tennessee really only, outside the normal, really only welcomes Pitt in this year, which I think is a tough opponent for where Tennessee's at. 100,000 could change. I mean, could impact that game. I think I think it impacted BYU. I mean, in my opinion, there has to be some kind of value to it. It can't be none. It can't be negative value.
Right.
So, I mean, I think, I don't know whether we can actually mark that as a struggle or not. I may be reaching if we're going to add to the things of Josh Heupel is going to have to overcome. But I certainly think it helps you to have a full Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, and going back to your question about like have you seen a benefit from? I think, if we go like if COVID happened, you're restricted to however many seats. I kind of forget how many. It wasn't a lot.
I think it was.
But do you come back against Florida in 2016?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the science behind like noise and momentum and stuff like that. I know that's a hot topic, but I think there's got to be something to it.
No, I agree. I think there's definitely value to it. And I think, and you know what? And I will counter the home field advantage thing, because I think there's one part of home field advantage that people leave out. And that is like the reverse psychology of it. Like when the away team makes a big play, how they can build on it. Because when you hear the air come out of a stadium, when there's a big unexpected play, the BYU play, for instance, probably the last memorable one, that Alontae Taylor busted coverage. I mean, you could have heard a freaking pin drop in there. The home team can feel it, and it usually affects them. And the away team can feel it, and if they have any sense of killer instinct, they can jump on it. And so I think there is a reverse effect to it that, if you've been in those environments, whether you've played or just felt them, you can feel I guess for lack of a better term, the reverse home field advantage. Sure. Because I think there's definitely something to the players, the home players, feeling the crowd lose confidence in them, lose the energy in them.
To silence the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the home team would still have more advantages than the away team in that scenario. But I think there's definitely that can, whereas like if a big play happens and there's no one there, then it's just like, can the player just make the next play? They don't have to overcome anything that any thoughts in their head at that point. It's just make the next play at that point. Whereas the crowd can definitely affect it mentally.
Yeah, and I think it's, after a win, it's more satisfying to win in front of 100,000 than, 20.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Or however, was it 50?
I think it was close to 50,000. I honestly don't remember. I guess it had to be a little bit less. I think it was just like a third.
I guess maybe 40 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
When it's a packed house, it's a lot more satisfying to win in front of all those fans.
Yeah, and I mean, it's and the one thing Josh Heupel will know is, because he mentioned it in his opener, he knows what it's like to be on the other side of that, of the other sideline in Neyland. So he does know that he knows about the home field advantage. Like, it's not just something he's heard about and people talked about. If you've been around college football long enough, everyone that's ever watched college football knows about Neyland Stadium. Like, I was out in Arizona this year, and a guy was like, "Oh, you're from Knoxville?" He's like, "I went to Neyland because that's on my bucket list." And I was like, "Oh, are you a fan of like a Southeastern Conference team?" He's like, "No, just that's on my bucket list. Like, I've always heard about Neyland Stadium. I wanted to go." And I think he was at the 2016 Florida game. I was like, "Good God, you picked a great one."
Come back.
Yeah, he was at a big game. I can't remember. It was recent. But I think Tennessee even won it. And I was like, wow, you freaking picked a good game to go to, dude. And I mean, everyone knows about Neyland, but it's like, or has heard about Neyland, but do you know about it? Because being in it is just a different environment. And unfortunately, a lot of Tennessee fans don't even know about it. They've never heard or been a part of a big game in Neyland. But yeah, I mean, like, that's for the longest time, one of the loudest games I've been to, like in recent history, was 2010 UAB, and it went into overtime, and that's the only time it was loud. It was pitiful.
Ugh.
Yeah, so like there was like a stretch there of a couple, the Derek Dooley days, where that was the loudest game.
So going back to what our original point was, like some struggles for Heupel.
Yeah.
I think one for me is got to be recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it firsthand. Ty Simpson, Sam Horn, he's just trying to pick up the pieces of what Jeremy Pruitt, just left in shambles.
So we've talked about it before Ty Simpson committed, because obviously, and I don't think, he should not stop recruiting them. You should make them send you to voicemail. Do you think there's anyone that, now that Ty Simpson's committed to Alabama, now you're second, publicly second target, Sam Horn's committed to Missouri? Are there guys, especially in-state guys with this big 2022 recruiting class, that you think Tennessee's just going to miss out? You would be shocked if they came here now.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to have a hard time getting Dallin Hayden. Mm-hmm. I think pretty much Isaiah Horton, Jordan James, I think a lot of those high-profile guys, it's going to be difficult because I think they want some kind of reassurance, and I don't think you get that and without being to campus, seeing the facilities. I don't think it's hard to sell Tennessee when you're not able to see it.
Right.
Tennessee does a great job of selling itself because of the town and the facilities, the stadium, the atmosphere. But if you're not able to visit that, you don't know that.
And Tennessee's not not winning enough for that to not matter.
Yeah, being 3-7, it isn't helping you. Having NCAA violations, over your head, it isn't helping.
Do you think that's played a part in the? I think Sam Horn, I think Josh Heupel just got in it too late. I didn't know he was committing then, or I would have probably had said no, not a chance. Ty Simpson, I just think. Do you think the violations played a part?
Well, I'm sure other schools are saying oh yeah, you won't get to play in any postseason games if whether they know that or not. They're probably I would tell a kid that.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's a possibility,
right?
You don't have to say it as scripture or anything, but yeah, it needs to be mentioned if you're recruiting against it.
And Josh Heupel, nothing against him, but it's not a splash hire that puts people on notice.
No, for sure. I think the exciting offense definitely makes it intriguing and interesting, but yeah, it's not. You didn't.
But without seeing it at this level, it's hard to say it's going to work 100%.
Well, he did. Drew Lock did set SEC records. So it has been at this level, but I think he wasn't the head coach.
Right.
He hasn't won it. Can we say he's won anything yet? I don't. He won some conference championships or a conference at UCF. But I'm not willing to just flat. I'm not. He's not just a winner in my book. That's you still got a lot to prove. So yeah, it definitely wasn't splash.
Yeah, so I think he's going to have a hard time recruiting, and it sucks because it's the 2022 class in state is really heavy, so you don't want to miss out on a bunch of those guys. But it is what it is. You got to pick up the pieces somehow, and I think a perfect example would have been maybe trying to at least talk to Caden Martin, because if it's not going to benefit your program, it's going to benefit your athletic department.
Yeah,
it's going to benefit having a VFL who, the University of Tennessee kind of did him wrong a little bit. Whatever the situation was, whatever the story is, it'll come out.
I'm not willing to say they did him wrong. I'm not willing to say it. I don't know.
There was a miscommunication of some sort. And so, you just don't want to see somebody like that. But, he's going on a baseball scholarship to Miami, and Manny Diaz was just – I listened to his interview, Caden Martin's interview with Trey Wallace today, and he basically said Tennessee football just didn't contact me ever. I'm like, if you contact him, he's at least here for baseball. Just – what's it hurt to give him you don't have to even offer him a scholarship in football. Miami didn't. So I don't understand why you can't just be local kid, plays quarterback. We don't have one in this class. We missed out on 2 already. Why can't you just say, hey, come compete and play baseball?
So when he says this Tennessee didn't contact him, I assume he means this staff. Surely?
It's surely because,
his
T.
dad
Martin
was
was
on
here.
the previous staff. Yeah.
Yeah. It had to be this staff.
Okay. I agree with you. I agree that they should have at least contacted him, but he's been here for a month, and then all that came out with about his dad, like, I don't know. You pick up the phone and call, but
Yeah. I
at
mean,
the same
you
time,
at least
it's like seems like a lost cause to me. I don't know. It's definitely there's some gray area there. I'm with you. Should have picked up the phone and called, but I'm also like, I know he's not gonna say yes. So
yeah. I mean, my thing is like if you didn't want to offer him a scholarship because scholarships are probably going to be tight with the NCAA, I get that.
yeah, but
The fact that you didn't even like contact him and then he goes to Miami is not even on a football scholarship. That just it doesn't sit well with me because he's the number one baseball player in the state of Tennessee. Loves Tony Vitello and would have came here if Tennessee would have just picked up the phone and contacted him.
Did he straight up say that? I don't know. Like, that's my thing. Because would he have come to Tennessee if they had contacted him?
He said that was a big reason of my decision that they just didn't contact me.
See, that's another. Like, I don't know. Maybe he would have, but it seems like there was a lot of bad blood there. And maybe maybe it was guys talking. Maybe it's not true. But again, I would have been shocked had Caden Martin come to Tennessee. Like, even if Tennessee had offered him a scholarship, I would have been shocked. Like football. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hope that, I hope I'm right, because otherwise that's going to just leave that's a bad start to Heupel. That included with the Dylan Brooks stuff, which again, I don't even know if what's true. I'm going to go with what I know, right? Like what I believe to be true, in that they were going to release him and there was just some miscommunication. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it just, he came in with an impossible task.
Yeah. But there were some things that the Brooks thing could have been handled probably better regardless. Probably better. I don't know. And then, I mean, yeah, the Caden Martin thing. Yeah, you should have talked to him. But again, I'm not convinced he would have come here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But it can't freaking hurt.
No.
I mean, you literally don't have a single commit in this class. So I don't know what can it really hurt to get a local kid that, because I mean, he's got a killer arm. If any quarterback can come in here and produce in that offense, I just think it would be a no-brainer to me. But what do I know? I don't know.
All right, what are some other struggles you think Heupel will be facing this offseason?
I think defense. That's kind of been a struggle under him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a whole new staff, guys that aren't really familiar with each other. Yeah, you got some good guys, some good recruiters and stuff like that. But with what you got coming back, the struggles last year, I think that only kind of gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
It may not, but you'd like to think if your best defensive back leaves, you struggled in the secondary already, you'd think that would probably get a little worse.
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't think you have a lot of pass rushers, proven pass rushers anyway. And I think if you can't get pressure in this league, you're going to get torn apart. And that's kind of what happened last year. And with the tempo, I don't know how that really works on a defense, but
I mean, it's going to hurt your defense if they're on the field more. But so many teams are that tempo now. It's possible. A lot of defenses are doing okay with it. Not that they're doing great. It's definitely become more of an offensive game. But there's teams all across the Southeast and country that do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Oklahoma. We always talk about Oklahoma and how, bad they are at defense. But, is it because their offense is just so good that their defense looks so much worse?
I think that's part of it. I also think the Big 12 just could not give a shit about defense, and that is also a part of it. I think,
and that kind of scares me a little bit that he is an Oklahoma guy. So, kind of makes me a little nervous.
He doesn't care about it at all.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
But there's a lot of holes on defense.
Yeah.
Linebacker, pass rusher, I think DB. Hopefully you're able to fill some of those holes. Hopefully the transfer market. But if you're not
Transfer
able
market.
to visit,
Wow. Would you just drop a EPL term on me?
is it an EPL term?
Yeah. Landon's a soccer guy now, football guy.
Football.
OG football. Yeah, OG football guy. Wow. Transfer market. Okay.
Yeah, so I think you're going to have to hit that pretty hard, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I think offensively, your talent is good. I think you've got a really, really good talent pool. But defensively, it gets a lot more shallow. I don't know who is going to play linebacker. Is there a Rudy on campus that they can find? Okay, can we talk about how bad Rudy was at football? But, there's just not linebackers right now.
Did they just, was he actually good in real life, but not in the movie?
I think I don't know as far as talent-wise how true to real life it was.
Yeah,
but I think,
how athletic was the real Rudy?
I think playing time-wise. So let's look at this. A guy doesn't even get to play in that era. He's not good, right?
It's a good point.
There were guys that were out running milk deliveries in the morning playing in the NFL. That's probably, I don't know if that's, I don't really know how old that movie, how old, I don't know when it was based. That's probably pretty close.
It's like when Notre Dame was almost brown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, he had to be pretty unathletic. I think he was, 5'2". I think he was actually originally the Notre Dame mascot and decided to walk onto the football team. And if you don't know who Notre Dame's mascot is, it is a leprechaun. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Short joke. I can make those.
Yeah, I don't know how athletic he was.
I couldn't have been, but I don't know what Tennessee's going to do legitimately at the linebacker position. They're going to have to go get a plethora of transfers, but I guess they can't because they've signed 23. How many guys they signed?
Gee, I don't even know anymore. The numbers are so messed up with everybody leaving, and I don't think they get even close to 85 scholarship players.
That's good because they're probably going to get, at least, 5 taken away?
Yeah, it's true.
So
we're going to be right on par.
There we go.
There's a golf term.
Yeah, just dropping it all in today. I like it. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting for sure. I guess let's jump to basketball. I'm trying to
I also want to mention Big Cat Bryant is headed to UCF.
What? That's so stupid. Also, we thought we paid Big Cat Bryant pretty much $2 million by way of Kevin Steele. Turns out Kevin Steele couldn't even get that done.
Yeah. And we're still paying him.
Dude, freaking Florida and Missouri hit the over.
Did you pick the under?
Yes. I know what you're thinking. But
you just had a feeling?
I had a feeling, and the feeling was wrong, my friend.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they
had 62 points at halftime.
Yeah. And Drew Smith with 0.7 seconds left hit a reverse layup on Florida to beat them.
Good.
So if that makes you feel
covered,
any better
that covered
about it.
Or that hit the over, right?
Yeah. Well, it was it at 140? Did you get it at 140?
I got it at 140. I got it at 140 and a half.
Yeah, so they're tied 70-70. So
somebody was going to overtime. That's right. That makes sense now. I'm sorry, I'm bad at math. Okay, yeah. Yep. Never mind. Doesn't even matter. But anything else you want to mention about Big Cat Bryant other than?
He's been committed and gone away and whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't coming to Tennessee.
No. I'm just surprised.
He could have still, but
he was pretty productive in the SEC to go to UCF, but I guess he just wanted to follow Malzahn, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Orange and White game is set for April 24th. Spring practice will start March 23rd. I think the pro day will be March 25th, and it'll include 3 Tennessee players that got invited to the NFL Combine: Trey Smith, Bryce Thompson, and Josh Palmer.
So how are they doing the Combine this year? Because I know it's not in person.
It's virtual.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So they play 16 NFL regular season games plus the playoffs, but they don't think they can do the combine?
Yeah, I feel like that'd be way easier to spread out.
Yeah, I think so too, but whatever.
Yeah.
And don't they?
I mean, you can basically do that. You're basically doing the combine at the pro day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you're able to have all these little pro days, but you can't have one combine. Yeah, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I want to get back to normal.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
I do too.
Florida preview.
They get lost tonight, so that's good.
They did lose to Missouri tonight. I don't know if that would necessarily. Dude, Tennessee, I can't figure them out. Is Sunday the day? It's like, is that going to be the day that they? How many games have they lost on Sunday this year? I haven't played a lot.
Have they played any on Sunday?
I don't know. I was kind of trying to think that. I think they were supposed to play Wisconsin on a Sunday, but that obviously didn't happen. Maybe they were going to play on Saturday. I don't know. You know, sometimes they have those games in the early part of the season on Sundays. I don't think they did play any though. I don't recall any. No, they didn't. So no Sunday games. This one's a makeup, obviously, from that canceled Florida game. Lost by 20 to Florida last time?
Oh man, it was a lot.
They lost by 26. Yeah, 26.
Without like three of their best players.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know with this Tennessee team. They're settling for shots. They no confidence, no leadership,
no post presence.
Not only am I not confident about the Florida game, I'm not confident about the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can't really have a good expectation going into March.
And nothing like point. I mean, the only thing that kind of like points to hope, the only thing is talent, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we're just hoping on that moment that everything just clicks.
Right.
Hoping on that moment that John Fulkerson finds the Michael Jordan shoes on a power line or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, Josiah Jordan-James is still, coming back from injury right now. John Fulkerson is battling through some things as well. And, I mean, like you said, you just got to hope it clicks. You got to start hoping, that some deep shots are falling for Tennessee. They have to stop settling. Need Kennedy, need Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer to be aggressive. They're just going to – but, I mean, the thing is it takes more than them. You see when they're the guys. They score over, 40 points by themselves, over half of Tennessee's points last Saturday against Auburn. And that's just not enough. It's going to take guys like Eves Pons, like John Fulkerson, Vescovi, Victor Bailey Jr., Josiah Jordan-James to help. It can't be two freshman guards that they're not going to win it for you. That's just not going to be the case.
Yep. Hopefully senior day just brings the most out of John Fulkerson and Eves Pons, and they just go off.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I mean, you have two really talented freshmen, but we've seen this season that they can't carry you to multiple victories.
Right.
They can win one here or there, but you're gonna be probably maybe one win in the NCAA tournament and be done, if that.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how Sunday goes and then how early you exit the SEC tournament, you could be looking at a very, very tough challenge in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So
yep,
you could be. Yeah, it's gonna really suck that the one of the most talented, just like raw talented teams. I mean, Eves Pons is one of the. He's got to be the freakiest athlete in Tennessee basketball history.
I would think Tennessee athletic history.
Probably so. There might be some other guys you might. I mean, there's been some freakishly athletic football players that maybe with like I mean, what makes them maybe for the freaky part I'm talking about is probably like the psychopathic part of them. But yeah, there's been some crazy guys on that Tennessee football team. But yeah, Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, one of the best athletes, from an athletic standpoint, in Equans. And then obviously 2 of the most highly rated freshmen Tennessee's ever had. You have Josiah Jordan-James, who's a 5-star and is a sophomore. It's just gonna be really unfortunate if they don't. And again, like you said, how can you expect any more at this point? It's gonna be really disappointing if they don't figure it out in March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to be a negative, but
yeah,
I mean, from everything we've seen this season, I just don't see them clicking. Yves Vaughn said in the press conference today, I think I have the quote, and it's, hold on.
And I say, you mentioned like the Negaball thing. Like, yeah, it just hasn't been Tennessee's season.
Mm-hmm.
Just hasn't been it. Don't think that means to fire Rick Barnes personally.
No, absolutely not.
So
Yves Vaughn said, I'm not really expressive guy. Things are definitely bothering me, but I'm just not the type to say too much. That's not how I am. I say a few things to a few people, but really I just keep working. My dude.
That's a good that's a good mentality to have, but when you're the leader of a team and you are the leader of the team, just by nature of the position you're in.
Yeah, it's a good mentality to have when you have those leaders on your team like Admiral and Grant.
Yeah.
But when you don't have alphas, like you got to step up and be the alpha.
Right. Hey, before we'll keep talking basketball, I missed some questions on YouTube, so we'll get those real quick.
Okay.
Eric Gilbert decommitted. Where's he going? We talked about that a little bit on Sunday, and no clue where he's going. Probably
I read today where he could go maybe the JUCO route.
Yeah, I think there's some more issues than just like where he wants to play football, maybe where he can play football. So like you mentioned the JUCO route looks like a real possibility. Any word on Henry T and Quavarius Crouch? Quavarius Crouch is back, correct? Like he's on the team, right?
Yeah, he's still in the transfer portal, so he's going to go through spring practice and probably evaluate what he wants to do after that. So hopefully this is just he gave Heupel a try. I don't know if it was because of his lack of kind of offers. I don't know, but the fact that he gave Heupel a shot, I just got to applaud because everybody else didn't. Everybody else was just like, nah, I'm out. Henry Toto, nah, I'm out. And he looks like he's going to Alabama. So
Right. And then Kevin also mentioned the Falcons had a field goal kicker who bartended in the offseason. That sounds like a recent thing. I don't know who that is. Can't decide if that's a 1960s thing or if that's like today.
like this year?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because he was he was like one of the best kickers in
I don't even know
the league.
I know. I don't think it was this year. I just made that joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I made the joke about how NFL players used to have other jobs earlier. Trevor Daniel was driving a FedEx truck when he got the call this year about being the Titans punter. So
yes,
there you go.
Young Ho Koo was the Falcons
Young Ho
kicker
Koo.
this year.
Gotcha. I think he was at San Diego. He was at San Diego recently. I can't remember where he's at.
Yeah, he was with LA in 2017.
Gotcha. He's been bounced around, and you said he was the best kicker in the league this year?
He was one of the best in fantasy. I know that
Did you
because
have
I
him
tried to
on
pick him
his-
up and
Yeah,
somebody else got him.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So he hadn't been in the league long. Okay. 2 years? 3 years?
That was his fourth year. No, 3 years. He was
because-
in the AAF.
He didn't spend the whole time. Kevin said that field goal kicker for the Falcons was in 1980, so fairly like recent. I would think there were not. I'm not up to date on like personal NFL history, but I would think most in the 1980s were playing football full time.
That makes me think of The Replacements.
Yes.
When the dude's like smoking a cig while he's kicking a field goal.
Yeah, I love that movie. Big Shane Falco fan.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. Okay. So, I mean, I guess we'll officially put in our postseason expectations. I know we talked about it. Where do you see this team?
Round of 32 and out.
Round of 32 and out. So you think they win their first game in Indiana? and then they're done.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I think that's a realistic expectation. I think it's probable. Where do you have like a specific round for the SEC tournament? Do they win one game, lose the next? Do you think they maybe try and make a run? Like, what do you think? I mean, I guess we.
I'll say they win. I'll say they win one game based off like them just being able to be there before.
And I guess by Sunday,
they have some experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess by Sunday we can know and like do a real prediction. We'll know the seeding. So
yeah, hopefully this week was good to just kind of get back to. I hate to say get back to the basics, but I mean, just get back to getting some rest and kind of taking it easy a little bit. Obviously, you're going to practice and practice hard, but maybe resting a little bit and not having some fresh legs, I think goes a long way in basketball. So hopefully you're able to see some of that tomorrow. Hopefully we're not too rusty when we're shooting the basketball. I don't know how you can get really any rustier than we currently are from three in the mid range, but hopefully you're not able to see too much rust on Sunday against. I would love to beat Florida. You don't want to get swept by that Florida team. They're not good.
No, you never want to get swept by Florida, and then specifically this Florida team. So
right.
Yep. Oh. All right. Let's move on to BaseVols. They're done. They won. Got
the win. 5-3 over Austin P. So Dayton, like you mentioned earlier, canceled. So they I think they called Austin P. Was like, hey, you want to come down? They're like, no, but you can come here. So they hopped on the buses, went to Clarksville, and down 3-0. And I think in the 5th inning, they got things going. Jake Rucker had a big 2 RBI single to take the lead. I think they loaded the bases 3 times in that inning, scored 5 runs. Started off with a kind of a pop fly. Jackson Greer hit one in the outfield, and it got lost in the lights.
Oh, love
that.
Yeah,
I actually dropped down for a double, and that kind of kick-started the inning for him. Got 5 runs, and that's the way it ended. Elijah Pleasance came in. I think he had his career high in strikeouts tonight. I think he was the 4th pitcher to come in. It was Camden Sewell, Fitzgibbons came in, Connor Housley, and then Elijah Pleasance took over, I think, in like the 4th or 5th inning. And I think he finished it out from there. So good win. Want to score more runs, but on a short notice, go on the road, you get a win, come back this weekend against Georgia State starting on Friday night.
Anyone, anytime, anywhere. Yeah, it's good to get the win. Made me nervous there for a second, leaving guys stranded. Looked like maybe a repeat of this weekend early on in the game. Got a little, palms sweating a little bit. But yeah, good to get a couple runs in, get things going, and then just kind of hanging on.
Tennessee's just got to do a better job of hitting the ball. I mean, some of the veteran guys on this team just aren't hitting the ball very well. They're going to need some of that come SEC play. Pitching's not been exactly where you wanted it. You've had a few guys here and there that's done well, but it just seems like teams are squaring up the baseball a lot more than we are. And with the experience we have, you definitely don't want to see that. But hopefully we get that fixed, because the SEC is going to be rough if you don't.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, make sure you buy your shirts. They got till Friday, right?
Yep, Friday's the last day. So get your Rifleman at bat.
Do it now. You got 2 colors. Both look great. I'm obviously a big white t-shirt guy, white tee guy, but yeah.
White shirt, white hat, white pants.
Exactly. Kevin mentioned on YouTube, can we beat Georgia State by more than 18 runs as payback for beating us in football? I really, 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 really hope Tennessee doesn't lose to Georgia State, because I'm just not going to be able to take some of the tweets that get popped up after that one. I mean, I know the likelihood of them losing one in a 3-game series, but I just really don't want it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't done much research on Georgia State. I think they played somebody pretty tough. Maybe they They started off with the SEC team. I don't remember exactly who they played, but they stole a game from them. So I think this is going to be a competitive series. It's not just like a lay down game, which you obviously wanted. But then again, you're trying to prepare yourself for a long postseason, and definitely want to be competitive in some of those games. And the Tennessee's just got to start hitting the ball.
Right.
They're too good to not be able to hit the ball. They should square baseballs. They should be hitting more home runs. They have the power to do so, but they just haven't to this point. Bats just go cold. The fifth inning they're rolling, getting timely hits and things like that. But then it was just, the next inning you go down in order. The next inning you go down in order. You need to get some timely hits, break up a pitcher's rhythm. Every now and then, Tennessee's just not been able to do that to this point. But hopefully, besides Arkansas Pine Bluff, they were terrible. Definitely want to get that going. I'm trying to look up Georgia State's baseball schedule because I want to see who they've
faced off against. I can try and pull it up too. Dude, speaking of pulling up scores here, ESPN from last year has drastically improved their college baseball. Well, they beat Georgia Tech 10-1 tonight. Put it on them. Yeah, but their college baseball part of their app has drastically improved. It's much better.
So Georgia State split with West Virginia 2-2. They actually won on Saturday, February 20th, 20-4 on number 14 West Virginia. Lost to number 7 Georgia 6-2. Beat Vandy in the first game, but lost the next 3 to them. Lost one of them on Saturday, 5-4. Just kind of got beat from there, and then they lost to Georgia Tech 10-1 today. So they've played nothing but ranked opponents up to this point.
Yeah, and they played them good. So
right.
Yeah, that's fun. They have some offensive firepower.
Yeah, they can score some runs. So Tennessee's going to have their work cut out for them for sure.
Let's see if their bullpen can bring it.
Oh, please.
Do we get some good, healthy jawing again in this series? That's the great question, I think.
Yeah, energy guys. We need some of that Mike Eckler energy up in here.
Bring out the McDonald's bags this weekend, boys. Bust them out.
For sure. What else we got?
That's all I've got for baseball. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but we'll have the full coverage for this weekend, so check that out. And don't forget your shirts.
Shirts, get them. When can they expect those? I mean, you're going to get them, but at least during baseball season.
I think the turnaround time is a week, so hopefully in the next week and a half, I should have those.
Gotcha. Okay, there you go. You'll get them soon. It's good turnaround time, guys. Hustle up.
Can't beat it.
For sure. Did you say we had any questions? Sorry.
No, we don't.
No questions? I didn't get any more, I don't think, on YouTube. Sorry, I've jumped off there. My computer was going a little crazy. Apologies. Okay. We didn't mention, I know you kind of went over the combine. I don't know if you mentioned who is invited. So there were 3 Vols officially invited to the combine. That's Josh Palmer, Trey Smith, and Bryce Thompson. They will be doing, obviously, the combine virtually. But yeah, they were invited. So
yeah, I think that's big for them. I think those are 3 guys that could make an NFL roster. Didn't have the best. Josh Palmer in particular didn't have just a great career, but neither did Marquez Callaway. I think a lot of it had to do with the quarterback play.
Right.
So apparently he did really well at the Senior Bowl, and he's obviously not a guy you got to worry about being a locker room issue or anything like that. Bryce Thompson, he's kind of a mouthy corner, but he has great ball skills, a good athlete. I'm interested to see how fast he is in the 40.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that could be kind of telling if he's going to get drafted or not.
Yeah, it hurt Juwan Jennings. I think most Tennessee fans knew he'd be, that 40 time would be pretty slow. That's one of those where you're like, I get if that guy doesn't run it. But yeah, I'm interested about the Josh Palmer one too. Okay.
Stupidity.
I've got one. I've got a few.
Okay.
And I've got one for myself too. So it's called. We talked about it. Owning it. Owning. You need a guy to hold yourself accountable. I'm holding myself accountable. But my first one, I think this is a double stupidity. The first for Amazon. Did you see the new Amazon app? Let's see if I can show it to you. So you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that.
So you do like that?
No, I don't.
So the first one, do you see the symbol, like the resemblance to Hitler on this one? Do you see it?
Yeah.
I see it too. So Amazon saw it, people saw it, and then they switched to the one on the left. So they first had the Hitler looking one, and then went to the one on the left. And here's why stupidity on Amazon. How did no one in your massive social media graphic design department catch that? Because it definitely does look like Hitler. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, how did that was in a meeting with like a lot of people
like,
and not one.
They're like, that looks familiar. I really like that.
Yeah, somebody needs to step up in that meeting. Don't just be on your phone tinkering. Don't just be silent because you don't want to be heard or anything like that. You got to step up and be a leader and just be like, dude, you can't put that out there. I work for this company. I don't want that. So if you got to be selfish about it, you got to be selfish. Be like, I don't want to be any part in having a Hitler app.
So that's my first stupidity. How do you not catch that? My second one is cancel culture. No one, I get it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, but the people who want to cancel culture are just as annoying as the cancel culture people. Like the people, there were, a bunch of replies to that tweet that were like, they find something wrong with everybody. Like, that doesn't look like Hitler to me. It looks like a piece of tape in a box. Blah, blah. I'm like, guys, I see how you could think that looks like Hitler. I get it. I'm not saying they should, if they don't want to change it, don't change it. They're they're not trying to make it look like Hitler. But if, like you said, if I'm the guy at Amazon, I'm definitely going to stand up and be like, guys, we can't roll that out. That looks terrible. Yeah. It looks like Hitler. I know you're not, I know you don't want it to be Hitler. That's what it looks like. So, the cancel culture people are just as, the cancel culture people are incredibly stupid too. They changed it not because they intentionally made it look like Hitler, because it did look like Hitler. That's why they changed it. It's that simple. If you want to hate on the people who cancel Mr. Potato Head, I'm all for that one. Do it. But that one's pretty straightforward what's going on.
Right.
We're all stupid. It's so stupid nowadays.
Love it.
The fluoride they're putting in the water, it's turning the frogs gay and it's making us stupid.
My next one is Tennessee_athletics on Instagram.
Well, theft.
They just love taking our tweets. Whatever. I guess we do a pretty good job.
You gotta use the copy and paste filter or function on your phone, or it might stop working one day.
But I will say this: if you're gonna tag players, the same players we tag, make sure it's the correct player.
Oh no! What happened?
So they tagged Trey Lipscomb, and we tagged Luke Lipsius. Trey Lipscomb did not even play. So, come on, man. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah, that's bad.
This is the third tweet that they've just, stolen, word for word. I messaged him. I was like, you didn't even change it, at all.
They have a lot of followers, too. That makes me jealous.
Yeah, and then they said they've never heard of us. I'm like, dude, it's word for word.
Right.
And then you tagged the wrong player. Yeah, whatever. I guess it's flattering that they think it's good enough that they
like the wording of it. Yeah, exactly.
But come on, man.
Oh Lord. My next one, like I said, gotta go after the self every once in a while here. Did you see the Ryan Callahan put it out? Under new coach Josh Heupel, the Vols again have joined the race for an elite class of 2023 QB with family ties to Tennessee. I quote tweeted it and was like, who is he related to? I thought the sarcasm would come across good. It didn't. I got several people tweeting back at me. Tell me who it is. That's on me.
You ever heard of Peyton, you idiot?
That's on me. So, yeah, that's on me. I should have been better. It's on me.
I got your sarcasm.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the kid's been talked about since he was in 8th grade.
Yeah, or when he was born, he was like, "Oh man,
Probably.
this dude is gonna be good."
Yeah, probably.
He had a 3-star when he was 4 years old.
He's never been a 3-star in his life. He was a 5-star in waiting.
Yes. Okay. It was pending.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any more?
I do. So Kirby Smart in his press conference said, every player on our team is a potential cornerback right now.
Wow. Interesting. You hear that, JT Daniels? Get out while you can.
Like, what?
I guess
every player on our team.
Kirby just loves that position so much. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I guess.
For sure. My next one, my last one is Kentucky. Just Kentucky. Their Senate passes a bill unanimously. Everyone agreed to give high school seniors 1 more year to play. Why this year, too? Like, they haven't missed their seasons. Is Kentucky? I assume Kentucky's still playing.
Yeah. My thing is, like, who's doing that?
Who's doing that? That's the best question. Now, I will say this. If a kid, like, has a legit shot of, like, going somewhere, I'd be like, dude, stay. You're gonna grow at a much faster rate between your 18 and 19 year than any kid's gonna grow in terms of, like, your development, than any kid's gonna grow 14 to 18. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you have a legit shot of going somewhere, but the thing is, if you have a legit shot of going somewhere, you're going somewhere. So it's like, at the same time, it's like, who are you gonna tell that to? Like, there's no kid, there's no one. Yeah, it's incredibly stupid. It is incredibly stupid. The only kids that are gonna do it are kids that have no business playing high school sports, period, let alone at the age of 18 or 19.
Yeah, it's going to be like people that don't like – it's going to be people who, like, don't have offers and they're never going to have offers, but they think that they have a shot, and a coach hasn't just sat them down and been like, dude, you're not that good.
It's going to be the guys who are, like, the first ones to fight, too. And now they're the biggest and oldest ones on the field. It's gonna be
it's gonna be the ones that have like 3 kids already.
Like, I'm gonna break your effing leg guy. Like, that's gonna be the guys that do it. Mm-hmm. Girls, I don't know. I don't see a girl doing it. Maybe that. I don't know. I don't know of a lot of girls that are like, oh, man, I really miss playing high school sports. So
yeah,
yeah. There are guys that would do it. I know that, but what's the point? I don't know. It's incredibly stupid. Incredibly stupid.
And if people know you, like, you're playing a rival, and like that's used against you, right? Like, they have a 5th-year senior.
For sure. And I think it should be noted that the rule is still in place that you can't turn 19 before, like, August 1st or whatever the cutoff date is. There's not a lot of, like, that wouldn't affect most seniors, though. Most seniors aren't going to turn 19 before that date anyways. So, like, it's still open to pretty much everybody.
So are they supposed to go to school still, or are they
That's
just playing?
Great
like,
question.
this man's got a full-time job and coming in here and practicing every day.
Not a full-time job, though. I think that's important to note. They probably are working, like, nights at a retail store, or whatever.
Yeah, working at Lowe's or something.
Yeah, or going to, like, can they go to community college and do it? Like, what is that like? I don't know. Like you said, that's a great logistical point.
So is this basically like a prep school thing?
Dude, I don't. And like, how many schools now? How many football coaches do you think are going to try and take advantage of it?
Oh yeah, they want a state title.
I mean, you go get the big nasties, baby. Go get that 18-year-old.
How many are allowed to? Can they go to a different school for their 5th year?
Oh, little transfer action. Okay,
Little change of
point.
address.
Yeah.
I mean, like that is just opening the door for just the most. I don't even
right.
like
it doesn't
the
make
worst
sense.
type of people in high school sports are gonna love this rule.
100%. I can't wait to see the insaneness that comes from it. We're gonna hear there's gonna be at minimum 3 just headline grabbers articles about this. I can't.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I can't wait. Cash Daniel, that's a great candidate to get 1 extra year. I don't even know what state he's from. Is he from Kentucky? Didn't he grow up a Tennessee fan?
Yeah, I think
We
so.
don't talk-
He is from Kentucky.
They don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, he wanted to come to Tennessee, but Tennessee didn't want him to come here.
In hindsight, that's probably a regret, right? Like,
Yeah, I would have liked to have Cash Daniels.
he's an
honestly.
asshole, but he could have been our asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the only
I don't know if
assholes
this-
you want, or the only assholes you want are your assholes.
Right. I mean, I'd rather have him than Colton Jumper. No offense to Colton Jumper, but
Hey, Colton Jumper's an NFL football player. You keep his name out your mouth. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
That's it. That's it for me. Guys, appreciate you.
Let's go win some money.
Let's go win some money. I didn't get enough. I'm gonna have to get some late night bets going.
Okay.
Just because make up for lost money. Sunday, Tennessee versus Florida. This weekend, Tennessee baseball takes on Georgia State in a series. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz. We'll be back Sunday night. Tom TBD. We'll let you guys know about that. 6:30 or 8. One of those times. Just not sure which one yet. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. That's all we got, guys. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.